Welcome back to the Riches Podcast. We are continuing our Nolan series today with Nolan Rises. We're talking about Interstellar, Dunkirk, what was next?
So you have Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, and then Oppenheimer, which Oppenheimer is, I would say, Christopher Nolan's, so far, his, magnum opus in terms of being a really great movie.
All of his movies are his magnum opus, let's be honest. And he just outdoes himself with every one.
So I would say yes, but to me it's kind of like the, how would I describe it? Kind of
it's him making a normal, serious movie, if that makes sense.
I would say yes, but I would also say too, the fact that it's you have elements of Memento in it, where you have flash forwards actually are in black and white, and then you have you have these different storytelling mechanisms that I think are very unique to Christopher Nolan, and he uses them to tell this really great adaptation of a book, American Prometheus, telling the story of Oppenheimer, his lifetime's tribulations, and ultimately him, starting the Trinity program, developing the first nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And ultimately the ramifications of that, realizing, oh my God, I just released upon to the world pure death in...
Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
I forget. I watched a video where apparently that translation's it's been fucked up a couple different times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget where...
So what's the original meaning?
Yeah, it's just a general writing. It would be something you found in the Book of Revelations, and then you quote the Book of Revelations, but it's actually referring to something within the book, but not within it gets taken out of context now.
Yeah,
because of how Oppenheimer used it when he originally gave that interview.
Okay, but anyway, let's flash back a little bit, as Nolan does so well.
Yes.
Let's go back to Interstellar, his next film after The Dark Knight Rises. I dare say a lot of people were disappointed with The Dark Knight Rises as a conclusion to his trilogy. I think it's by far the weakest film in the trilogy, but despite all his criticism, Nolan pressed on and did one of his best films. For me, it's in my top 3 favorite Nolan films, Interstellar.
Yeah, so for me, the thing with Interstellar is, at the time, especially like Goldberg was saying, after The Dark Knight Rises, I was like, all right, I'm going to take...
Yeah, I was kind of whatever on Nolan.
Yeah, I kind of took a break myself too, where I was like, you know what? Chris Nolan just had a 5-movie run of top tier.
Yeah, so he kind of earned a bad day at the office.
Yeah, so again, with and even Dark Knight Rises, not a bad movie. It was just not what The Dark Knight was, which was
a timeless classic.
Well, it's the best. Again, I still stand by saying it's the best movie of the decade for the 2000s.
I might agree with that.
Yeah, because again, it literally kind of is a summation of fear and paranoia, not sure what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Kind of...
summing up our fears of, post 9/11.
Yeah, a lot of, the fears of, oh my God, what's going to happen next. You're not safe at, a military parade. You're not safe at,
And it's kind of calling out the bullshit of the concept of a society or civilization of, it can be brought into chaos just like that.
Yeah, and if you have a mastermind, in the case of The Dark Knight, it's the Joker. In the case of Dark Knight Rises, it's Bane. If you have someone who can pull the trigger, who can be the person to organize everything and make sure everything goes smoothly. Granted, I guess in our case, for us for 9/11, it was a little more complex than just, it was one guy pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
There was a face that they used to make it seem like one guy was pulling all the strings, but it's pretty clear that there was a lot of other string pulling going on.
Yeah.
I digress because that's a little too conspiracy theory level shit.
Speaking of string pulling, let's go into Interstellar. With,
all
their
these transitions,
string theories, and dynamics of physical light and darkness and what have you. And so Interstellar was actually in development for years. The script had existed for years. Steven Spielberg was originally going to direct. And I remember reading an article about that way before Chris Nolan's Interstellar came out. And there weren't really any details except that it involved a black hole. And this was when I was in high school reading about this. And I had just kind of started learning about black holes and a lot of astrophysics stuff. And I just found it fascinating, just even the vaguest concept that Steven Spielberg is going to make a movie about a black hole. But then I kind of forgot about it. Years went on, and then I found out Chris Nolan was doing it, and I got really excited. And then I saw it, stuck with me ever since. I've seen it several times over the years. I dare say it's one of his masterpieces. So here's the premise. Earth is dying. There's what they call blight. It's basically this vague disease that's destroying crops. There's dust in the air everywhere. It's like a dust bowl, like Great Depression. Was that pre-Great Depression, the Dust Bowl?
Yeah, well, no. So what happened was you had the Great Depression in 1929. It ended up throwing the entire world into chaos. So you have that to start with. This economic downturn. The rise of Hoovervilles, these like homeless encampments in like the middle and outskirts of cities.
Yeah.
Then with the Dust Bowl, it started to affect like the center of the U.S. So like I think from like North Texas all the way up to like Iowa and
basically like the
farmland, like our bread basket area where we would generate the most amount of our like income, pretty much.
Farmland turned to wasteland.
Yes, and ultimately that led to people needing. You got a lot of the people who went from Oklahoma moved out to California. I think a really great movie to watch if anyone wants to kind of watch and learn about the Dust Bowl at all and kind of the ramifications of it. Definitely look up the movie Grapes of Wrath. It's also a book, I believe, by Steinbeck.
Yes.
So that would be a good. So that version of like our Dust Bowl compared to the Interstellar Dust Bowl, which is like it's like twice as bad. It's implied that our time period was very wasteful with our resources. So now in the movie you cut to 2065.
Is that when it takes place?
2067 or 2065. I think 2067. Okay. So it's from right now it's like, what is that? 40 years into the future, 40 years plus. You go into the future and they were like, like during our time we were very wasteful with our resources.
Yeah.
Ultimately leading to, this like creation of excess like dust and stuff from I believe over farming. Was the idea and wastefulness.
And also in the movie there's this weird thing going on of people got so fascinated with science that there ended up being a lot of engineers and physicists and things like that in the future, but then they got really desperate for farmers. So Matthew McConaughey in the movie is both a farmer and a former like fighter jet pilot, but he's also like obsessed with science. Like one of the early scenes in the movie is him and his daughter and his son chasing down this like radar aircraft or something, or land surveying aircraft.
Yeah, and funny enough, his son is played by a younger
Timothée Chalamet, baby.
It's like one of his like. It's like not. I think he had a role. I think he had a couple roles before this movie, but like this was kind of his like. You're in a Nolan movie now, son. Get ready for getting some.
Yeah.
Like get ready for getting roles coming in and.
Yep.
So you see them trying to chase down. I think they said it's Indian. I think they said it's like India, like.
And it's like a drone,
like an Indian aircraft.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I thought was interesting, too, was this concept of that in the future, because resources are so scarce. A lot of major universities started shutting down. So now you have school that starts to get kind of like privileged to the intelligent. So you have the daughter who's clearly smarter than the son. So they say to basically Matthew McConaughey, like, look, your son should just be a farmer.
Yeah.
Your daughter clearly shows more of an aptitude for education. So we would like her to be here, but your son, not so much.
They kind of went backwards with their scientific thinking. Like, they're kind of denying science. Like, they don't believe we went to the moon, which may or may not be true, but it's weird that a school would be teaching that,
Yeah, like they're trying to put forth. And what's weird too is then you would consider like the rest of the movie. It's like, well, if we're now able to like go this deep, it's like then chances are we found a way to get to the fucking moon in the 60s.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would say common sense would be, okay, we're able to like hop on a ship, get out to Saturn, hop a wormhole or a black hole from that's right next to Saturn, take that through there, and then end up in a totally different area of the universe, and find these inhabitable planets. So from there, once this blight starts coming in, it starts, what is it, like wasting like different crops. Like first it was like wheat, then like I think it was like jumped to like barley or something.
And now I think corn is going to be like the next to go.
Yeah, corn is like at this point like the main staple like farm ingredient we have.
Yeah.
But because the blight is now taking out corn, it's like, oh shit, we need to do something different, or else humanity is going to be unable to exist on this planet.
Yeah.
So they ultimately get together this crew. You've got.
But I think it's before that happens that that Matthew McConaughey's daughter Murphy, named after Murphy's Law, that anything that can happen will happen. But she discovers a gravitational anomaly in the house where they live. So there's dust everywhere, of course, because of the blight. She notices that dust is falling in like stripes or like strips on the floor. And we'll get to that later.
And you see Matthew McConaughey and his daughter like having this really, intellectual conversation about what they're seeing, trying to figure it out. And then,
and Murphy says, could it be a ghost? And I think
it's a ghost.
Stop. I think Timothée Chalamet, the son, I think he's like...
Yeah, he peeks his head and goes, I'm playing with Lego. And they're like, get out of here, you fucking stupid asshole.
Yeah, and I think he's like you said, an asshole. And he's like, ghosts don't exist. And
it's like, well, what do you know? You're not in school, you dumbass. You're going to go farm corn that's going to die eventually. You're going to be farming dirt.
Farming dirt.
You're going to be a dirt farmer.
Oh my god. And Matthew McConaughey says, well, you have your hypothesis. Like, he's accepting of it. And he's like, you have your hypothesis, now do the scientific method.
To which he does it and goes, man, God's not real. It's like, okay, don't go that far, but, okay, so ghosts might not be real. Anyway, so at a certain point, she like, the daughter develops, or like finds some sort of like equation out that brings her and Matthew McConaughey to this like research base. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's where they meet Mr. Michael Caine, another reused Nolan character.
Yep.
Who breaks down like, well, I don't know how you got here even.
Yeah.
But you're here because your daughter found this place. So clearly something...
Because, like, the gravitational anomaly led them there with the stripes of dust or something.
Yeah, it's it's a cool kind of concept, but in the same breath, I'm like...
It's very far-reaching that they would, like, follow that.
Yeah, it's, like, very...
Seems a little psychotic.
Yeah, it's weird because you have, like, really cool grounded moments in this movie that are, like, applicable science.
Yeah.
That even I think, like, you have other scientists looking at it going, like, okay, there might be some truth to this. Time dilation, very much true. Like, a certain amount of time on one place is going to be different from time on another place.
Yeah.
In the cosmos.
Which my own theory is that gravity, that time is a particle interwoven with gravity, but we ain't going to go into that right now.
Yeah. So they find this place, you see Michael Caine kind of breaking down everything. Like, yeah, you can see blight is... blowing up all of our, like, our crops. We're not able to, continue to sustain humanity at its current size. And at some point, we're going to need to get the fuck off Earth because Earth is just falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell this movie has a lot of liberal propaganda in it. No, but for real, though, yeah, we find a way to fuck it up. So now the goal is, because because humanity wants to come together and obviously figure out something different, they bring together this crew. I believe it's a 4-man crew.
Yeah, it's Matthew McConaughey. I forget his name in the movie, but it's Anne Hathaway. Fresh off working with Nolan on Dark Knight Rises, Anne Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
But she has her short hair because her last role before this, I believe, was Les Miserables.
Oh.
Where they actually shaved off her hair on camera.
Which, I don't know, that's kind of funny.
Right? but actually...
They're like, this is what you get for being a subpar Catwoman.
Right?
So it's Cooper.
Okay.
It's
which is such like a sci-fi name. There's always someone named like Cooper or Hooper or something.
Yeah, Cooper is it's just like a good a quick like put it out there like, hey Cooper, like you can come up with nicknames with it. Then you have Doyle, who is the other astronaut.
Doyle rules.
Yeah, he's one of like the major mathematicians who's handling, like a lot of the stuff on the ship in terms of like trying to figure out like math wise, like, kind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then I believe the other gentleman is named Romilly. That sound right? Romilly?
Perhaps.
Yeah. There's another gentleman on the ship who, like, later on you'll see he kind of gets like a raw deal, and he gets a really shitty deal. But anyway, so they make the decision, okay, we're going to do this mission. Matthew McConaughey, Cooper's character, agrees to do it. They're getting ready to leave. You can see Murph, his daughter, is like broken up about it. Such
a great scene.
Yeah, and Tom's like, do you want to see my Lego before you go? He goes, get back to the farm! Screaming at him. So now, that's very, like, a very heartbreaking scene because you realize, like, oh, man, he's leaving his family now, and he's going to be, like, gone for some sort of period of time that's
And
undisclosed.
it's so heartbreaking because he tells her, time moves differently in space, so when I come back, we'll be the same age as each other.
Which, that's a fucking lie, but anyway, we'll come to that. So they finally get ready, they go to their mission. Their goal is they're trying to find a suitable planet in order to repopulate humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Repopulate, grow, produce agriculture, has oxygen present, so we're not, like, stuck in spacesuits the entire time. We can actually, like, breathe the air.
Yeah.
They launch out. They head towards a black hole wormhole near Saturn?
Yeah.
Head there, go through it, and they come out to this other area where there are 9 planets that they have to jump to each planet to try to find something suitable resource-wise. You have the first planet they go to is like an ocean planet?
Yes, it's an ocean planet where it's really cool what they do with gravity here, because the water's very shallow where they land. Like, it's like knee-high water, maybe. And then something to do with, I think it's because of the black hole that's nearby, or something with the moon, I don't know. But it's a really cool concept of gravity that, like, they're standing in essentially an ocean, but it's knee-high. And then you see this wave that's like fucking 1,000 feet high.
Yeah.
Coming at them, and they gotta get out of there.
Yeah, and while they're down there, they're looking for this captain who found the planet and sent out the transmission that they found the planet. They go to where he's located. But
I think they find a broken...
They find one of the
robot or beacon or something.
Yeah, you said they're called Tauruses, right? Or
they have a robot with them named Tars, which
Tars.
That's actually played for a lot of comedy because Tars is kind of a smartass, even though he's a robot.
Yeah, isn't he like 2 walking legs and that's it? Like he's like, like when you take 2 toothpicks and stick them into like a potato.
He's
and,
basically like 4 tall, skinny Imagine like a Kit Kat. He's like a walking Kit Kat.
Made of aluminum.
Made of aluminum, and Tars.
But a heart of gold.
But a heart of gold.
Yes.
And throughout the movie, there's actually some cool moments of Matthew McConaughey telling Tars, like, turn up honesty by such and such percent, or turn down sarcasm by this much percent.
Turn up honesty. You're never gonna see your family again. Okay, turn it down. Turn it the fuck down, please, for my site.
We're all gonna die. Yeah. Turn down honesty.
Yeah, right. Yeah, please turn that down, fucking idiot. Yeah. So they go to this planet, they find a beacon, see a wall of water coming at them that's like the size of like the Grand Canyon, something massive in size. They're able to get on the ship. Everybody, sadly, but the gentleman Doyle, and he gets washed away, and he's presumed dead because he gets, washed away.
Gets got by the good Lord, as you would say.
Yeah, and they basically, leave his ass, and they take off.
Yep.
They take off, and they go, okay, well, mission's more important than your ass, so we're gone. They end up going...
Meanwhile, due to time dilation...
7 hours, or every hour on that planet with the giant wave on it was 7 hours on Earth. But is 7 years on Earth, excuse me.
But is that also the planet where Romilly, he's on the ship and...
No, not yet. That's the next one.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So they basically check that planet off for being, okay, we can't do anything with this planet.
Which I think the episode in Rick and Morty is supposed to be a parody of this. That scene where they're like trying to find a new planet to live on. And it's like, oh, this one's too small. This one's too big.
Yeah. Oh, look, the sun's coming up.
And then the one is like, Rick looks at something under a microscope and it's like on a cob. And it's like, oh, everything's on a cob.
Oh, okay,
like on an atomic level, everything's like on a corn cob.
Yeah, that's kind of for me when I stopped watching Rick and Morty. I gave up.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, boy, you want to talk about something we should talk about in the future? The Pickle Rick episode, and the reason why I stopped,
and how it brought about the downfall of civilization.
Well, no,
shit ain't been right since.
Well, funny enough, the Pickle Rick part wasn't the worst part of that episode. It was the very end where they kind of blow their character load when it comes to Rick, describing kind of having Susan Sarandon's voice therapist. Breaking him down, and it's like, you should be saving this to spread out through a season, and not
nailed him to a T.
Yeah, which for me, it's like, you save that for a season. You don't do it in one episode and make everything else now like, okay, I guess I'm just watching for haha funnies. Like, I don't
exactly
give a shit.
Like, I guess Rick's he's aware of how he is now, or he just doesn't care.
First 2 seasons
he's self-aware, but he's ignoring how he is.
Yeah, first 2 seasons were great. Everything after that, dog shit. But anyway, now back to
Interstellar.
Yeah, now,
so they go
now back
on to the next planet.
Yeah, so they go on to the next planet. They go down and they find an empty ship. Now, when they go down, they leave the character Romilly up in the spaceship and say, "Hey, man, look, stay up here. We're going to be right back."
This is the ice planet with like the frozen clouds and shit.
Yeah, so they tell him, "Okay, look, we need you to stay up in the spaceship, monitor it. Me and who is it again? I apologize. I'm screwing up names right now. Cooper
and Anne Hathaway, who is
Bran." Okay. Brand and Cooper go down. They leave Romilly up in the ship to, basically stay put and just monitor everything.
Okay.
They go down and they walk onto this empty ass ship, and they're like, "Where is everybody?" Mm-hmm. They then find this like chamber that's totally closed up. When they find the chamber, the captain of that expedition was basically locked himself in that container.
Yeah.
When they open it up, out pops Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, baby.
Mr. Matthew Damon.
Which they actually... They really kept it a secret that he was in this movie for some reason.
I really like the fact that they kept it secret because, not to be whatever, but when I first heard Matt Damon was in it, I'm like,
it's like, okay,
where is he? Like, I don't see it. And then once you finally see, okay,
he's the guy from the previous crew.
Yeah, he's one of the people who spread out. One of the people who's trying to find.
Which I think, did Interstellar come out before or after The Martian?
Before. Martian was 2015. Interstellar was 2014.
Okay. Yeah, because after Interstellar and The Martian, people kept like making the joke that it's the same character and Matt Damon's just stuck out in space forever.
And yeah, no, they're totally two separate characters. So his name's Captain Man. They find Captain Man, which I don't know if there's maybe some commentary going on there.
I think there is.
There probably is. They find him. They go out, both Man and Cooper. I think they're going out for some exploratory purpose. Man had locked himself up, long story short, because he was like the last one alive on his crew. So he said, "You know what? I can't be here by myself alone, or I'm going to go, I can't really take being alone." So he throws himself into this isolation tank. They bring him out. Then Cooper, Man, they go out. Man tries to then kill Cooper.
Yep.
You see Matt Damon bashing the helmet in of Cooper. Cooper's like, "What the fuck?" And like he's just like, psh, psh. And it turns out Man just went like fucking crazy.
You can't do me like this, man.
That's right. And that's where you go, Man went crazy. So
Man goes crazy when he plays with what he ought not play with, which in this case is technology and other planets and such.
Yeah. So as this is happening, it turns out there's a giant storm coming. Man wants to hijack the ship and take it back. I think his whole goal is just at this point just to go back to Earth. Yeah, he just wants to go back to humanity, whatever. So he goes crazy. He tries to kill both Brandon and Cooper.
Yep.
Cooper ends up getting back to the ship. Man ends up dying by getting sucked out into the storm. So there goes Matt Damon. He goes flying off.
Yep.
They then, Cooper and Bran both go back up to the ship, and they finally see Romilly again. Romilly now looks like salt and pepper hair. He looks like super aged, and they're like,
yeah. So how long were they down on that planet? Like on that planet's time? No, I mean like in like their own time, like Matthew McConaughey time.
I want to say it was only like maybe like a couple, like a day or two, or like some very short period of time.
Yeah, like a day. But on the ship, it's been 20 years.
Which I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to my guy for keeping it together, because I would have I would have had to say fuck it.
He comes out looking like he has this look in his eye, like he has wisdom beyond his years. Well, he's lived a lot of years now, so.
Yeah, and my question is, like, did he eat through everyone's resources? Like, you figure, because you would figure they would have the one guy Doyle who got taken out. They would have his food as extra. Then he's up there for 20 plus years, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna eat my what do they eat? Like, I guess soybean paste or corn paste or who knows what they eat.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, just to keep themselves alive. And keep in mind, so it was 20 years on the ship. Now back on Earth, it's been like decades.
Yeah.
Like well past 20 years. And you have
Murphy is like grown up now.
Yeah, Murphy's grown up now. Michael Caine has died, but begrudgingly to Murph, because Murph is like, you can't die yet. I mean, you're gonna you're screwing me up by you dying.
You can't leave me like this.
So he dies. You have the situation on the planet, of course, getting worse. You see Tom now went from Timothée Chalamet to
Casey Affleck.
Yeah, not really a glow up, I guess. I guess a dim down is what you would call it.
Yep.
And he's standing there like, I want to be a science person, but but you had me playing Legos all day, and now I'm a farmer to dirt. God damn it. And so, so you have that going
Meanwhile,
on.
I think Murphy works for NASA at this point.
Yeah, Murph is working for, like, the equivalent of, like, whatever's left over of NASA. Like, it's still NASA, kind of. NASA,
it's like
whatever.
In a garage.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a much smaller operation. She's still trying to work on an equation to have some sort of... to create some sort of plan going forward that humans can get off the Earth.
Yeah.
And repopulate and, develop whatever they need to develop to survive.
Yeah.
Okay. So ultimately, there's a problem as well.
And I don't think we mentioned Jessica Chastain plays the grown-up Murphy.
She does. Jessica Chastain does a really good job in the movie too. Like,
yeah.
She's really great. That's the other thing I'll give credit to. And again, going back to Nolan with his actors, everyone does a good job in this movie. I really don't think there's any character who's like weak. Like, even the decision to have Matt Damon, someone who's pretty known for playing these level-headed, good guy characters, have him turn out to be a total psychopath.
Yeah.
I think that was a cool piece of direction to give.
It was.
So,
are we at this scene now with Matthew McConaughey and Jessica Chastain? Not video chatting, but she sent him a video message.
Yeah. So one of the things is they're receiving these messages. I think it was actually a little bit earlier in the film, maybe that this happened before they.
It's such a good scene.
Yeah, it's one of those acting performances. So this is, I think, this movie came out a year after Matthew McConaughey won Best Actor for Dallas Buyers Club.
Okay.
And I think for a lot of people, they're like, Matthew McConaughey, like, it's similar to like how I reacted with Heath Ledger being cast as the Joker, where I'm like, Heath Ledger, what the fuck? And he kills it and wins an Oscar and gives one of the best supporting actor performances of all time.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey, I'm like, he's nominated for an Oscar. Isn't that the dude who did like Failure to Launch and like be like Without a Paddle or some shit like that? Like he's like comedy, like, hey, what can I say? I just failed to launch, like shit like that. He ends up giving this tour de force performance.
But in Interstellar, he launches very well.
I mean,
in many ways.
Okay. So he gives a really good performance in the scene. He's weeping, crying as he's seeing like his kids getting older without him.
And she's like, when you left, you said when you came back we would be the same age. Well, today's a very tough day because it's my birthday. We're the same age now, and you're not home. And then she cries, and then he cries, and it's a beautiful scene.
Well, it's also very tragic too. Like it's very well acted,
beautifully tragically beautiful,
very,
whatever
very
you call it.
Heartbreaking when you realize, oh shit,
yeah, time
now is like so fleeting.
Yeah.
Going back to another Chris
But
Nolan,
as Anne Hathaway says in the film, love is the one thing that that transcends dimensions of time and space.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that as my like big like flaw with the fucking movie.
That's not a flaw to me.
It's horrific flaw. All right,
anyway. To me, it's the most beautiful thing about the film.
All right, we'll get to the end of the conversation. Okay. So now they're going on to the third planet. Problem is they're not going to have enough. I think they don't have enough fuel to get to the third planet. So what they have to do is they have to use this supermassive black hole called
Gargantua.
My girlfriend's named Gargantua. Oh, so they have to use this giant ass massive black hole to try to shoot themselves going one way, and then ultimately what Cooper realizes is they're not going to have enough resources for them to make it all, like all three of them, especially after what's his face has been up there eating all the fucking food for 20 years. So Cooper makes this decision to launch himself into the black hole, I guess, as like a suicide thing. Like,
I guess.
Yeah, I think it's him and the robot. He says, "You know what? We're going down." The robot's like, "Can you turn up my honesty real quick? Don't fucking take me with you, you asshole. I don't need to eat." It's like, well, no, someone's coming with me, and just drew the short leg. So he shoots himself off. It launches Brand and the other gentleman, Romilly, launches them out towards the third planet. Cooper and the robot launch themselves down into the black hole. They end up in the black hole, and when they get into the black hole,
but their entrance into the black hole is such a cool scene because it's like the ship is shaking. It sounds like it's gonna fall apart. There's like light and darkness, but they look very real and physical. Like it looks like actual sparks or snow or something in between, like flying past the ship, and like that's all really cool. And actually, the way the black hole looks in the film was, and the way it operates was advised by Kip Thorne, astrophysicist. He was the advisor on the film, and Nolan actually worked with Kip Thorne and astrophysicists to create a 3D model of what a black hole accurately would look like. So what we know of what a black hole looks like now comes from Interstellar and the research done for it.
Though the inside, I don't think is going to be the same. Now,
The inside probably not.
Yeah.
The outside very much so.
So this is where we jump kind of from like I would say science realism to like science fiction. So like
Yeah.
for example, Jurassic Park. It walks a very fine line of science fiction and science possibility.
Yeah.
Science possibility being, okay, we could technically take DNA and try to put it together with other animals to create creatures. Obviously, though, you start to get into the science fiction aspect of, okay, obviously the dinosaurs, probably aren't laying eggs to reproduce.
Probably not.
Yeah, even though I think that might be I don't know. They use reptile DNA, which, okay,
they mix it with frog DNA, and Dr. Grant says at one point that certain species of frogs can change sex in a single-sex environment to reproduce.
Yeah. So you have that with, like, say, like a movie like Jurassic Park, where it walks a very fine line.
Yeah.
Interstellar walks a fine line and then kind of takes a hop, skip, and a jump with some of the bullshit.
Yeah.
Where he falls into the black hole, and when he gets into the black hole, he starts to, like, have this weird, like, I'm going to call it, like, a 2001 Space Odyssey moment, where he ends up in this, like, it looks like a library.
It looks like a library, and it's basically, he's going through, like, it's almost like fractals, but it's more of a grid structure, and it's basically time as a three-dimensional space.
It's very interesting theoretically, but it's also kind of this point where for a lot of people they go, what? Like from my understanding, one of the big criticisms was this part when he finally goes into the black hole. Now keep in mind, this is the thing that I do kind of appreciate is with the whole idea of what's inside of a black hole. It's all theoretical. No one knows. Not even our best scientists know. It's all like conjecture to what it might actually be.
Some say it's literally nothing. Some say it's hell. Some say it's another universe. Who knows? But Nolan uses it as a sort of time machine.
Yeah, so it's a time machine that what's revealed is it's a time machine developed by humanity in the future. And one of the ways it's developed is you see Matthew McConaughey's character is in this black hole, and he's seeing that by looking out through this bookshelf, he's seeing the previous version of himself and his daughter finding that moment where, like, when they're talking about, oh my god, there's a ghost in the room, and you know there's,
and this is where he says,
"I was your ghost." Oh man,
but this is actually where the gravitational anomalies came from. So it wasn't a ghost, it was Matthew McConaughey in the black hole in the future, and you see him sort of tapping on books, but what he's really tapping on is like tendrils of time or gravity or space-time, whatever you want to call it. He's tapping these like strings of reality, which is creating these strips of dust on the ground, and he's like making a map basically.
Yeah, so this is where, again, like, if someone were to say, like, okay, this is where the movie falls apart for me, I'd be like, yeah, I kind of understand. Like, again, you've been getting fed this, like, obviously the most fantastical thing, funny enough, I think out of everything would be the robot AI they developed. But even now, like, in our current time of 2025, it's not that far-fetched anymore. Then 2014, it would be like, we're not going to develop something like that. Now, after looking at DARPA bots and shit, it's like, okay, maybe, but anyway.
But this movie is very grounded, but Nolan does his thing of playing with time and being trippy like he does with a lot of his films. But I think this scene, funny enough, a lot of people don't like it. I love it. This is what makes me love Interstellar, is that scene in the black hole.
Yeah, and again, too, it's like a thing of like, so I think it's a cool idea. It's just, for me, it's like I look at it and I go, this was kind of written very much like the main character syndrome, where it was like, it was me the entire time. And it was like, how the fuck do you know if it's you the entire time? Like, you could have flown in there and maybe met another person from the future who developed the black hole.
Yeah.
Who's the one who's been punching this shit in.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, it was always me, I was your ghost. Like, it's like, what the like, what kind of, like, these fucking emo lyrics, I was your ghost. Jesus. Anyway, so he ends up punching the code out. He helps both his daughter as the young character get to where she needs to get to. He also then taps out something to his daughter in the future. While he's out in space, he taps to her like, hey, this is what you need to do to produce the ability to have humanity get off Earth and develop outside. She gets the code. She's then able to take it and then start development. And at that point, then he just decides to kind of like, give himself up, I guess, let himself just continue to fall through the black hole forever.
Yeah.
And he ends up, I want to say he ends up outside of the black hole.
He just kind of floats out of it.
Yeah, he floats out of the same wormhole black hole he went into to start the movie. He floats out again, and they find him floating around Saturn, which I don't know. That is low key kind of funny. The idea of like them like just flying.
Was it around Saturn because he winds up in a space station?
Well, yeah. So he winds up in a space station, but they find his body just floating out in space.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You know, after floating out of this wormhole, black hole, whatever it might be. I want to say it's like a wormhole more than a black hole, even floating out of it. And they find him, and it just makes me laugh. The idea of like someone driving their ship and they just whack into his body. They're like, what the fuck? And like they try
turn
to
on the windshield wipers.
Yeah, they turn him on to like get Matthew McConaughey off, and they're like, oh, is that Matthew McConaughey? And they bring him aboard the ship. So he wakes up on a space station after doing all the string pulling to make everything happen. This spaceship / satellite design, very Asimov looking design, where basically the space station produces gravity so that technically people can still live on it, but you have this cool shot of like kids playing baseball, and when they hit the baseball because of the gravity keeps going and then lands and bursts through a house that's directly above them.
Yeah, so it goes like the kid hits the baseball in a way that's like, to him parallel to the ground, but it goes like straight up, kind of.
Yeah, and probably I can't imagine what the insurance prices are. It's probably fucking crazy. Yeah. So they, go, okay, cool. So I lived, turns out Murph is still alive, but because of the time changes.
She is very old. She's like 80 something.
She's in her 90s. She's celebrating her 90th birthday.
Okay.
When they reconnect again. Mm-hmm. And he's like 130 something, 140 something
but
years
he
old.
Still looks like 35 or 40-year-old, whatever, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, he still looks like he's in his like early to mid 40s, but he's like he's now like over 125, 130 years old.
Yeah. He
goes to meet her, and that scene I do think is very like sweet that they see each other again. Now, granted, it's like this bittersweet, like they see each other again, but his son Tom is dead, I believe, at this point, because Tom would have been like late 90s. I think he died.
Yeah.
So
he died a dirt farmer.
Yeah, he died with his Legos in his hand. So he rekindles with his daughter at the end of the movie. My biggest complaint with the movie is that dumbass line of "it's love." It's like
I love that. That's my favorite thing about the movie.
Yeah, I would love for our planet not to have a fucking cosmic-sized dust storm killing everyone and wiping out our fucking crops. I would love that, but science-wise, there's no emotion for it. I feel the same way kind of during that scene of like, it's love. If I was like the robot, I would have like turned to like the droid and be like, hey, can you turn up honesty real quick and tell her what that answer is? And the robot would have said, okay, sure, I'll turn it up. The robot just does it by himself, doesn't need anyone to tell him. He just turns it up and goes, what the fuck are you talking about? Love is a wonderful emotion. It's a great feeling, true. But science, unfortunately...
Well...
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. I think love is the most important thing in the universe, multiverse, omniverse, whatever you want to call it.
I agree, but at the same time, I would also say that like this almost kind of felt like...
And love can motivate you to do all the great things you have to and want to do in this life.
It's like Christopher Nolan, like, constantly hearing the complaints of, oh, you're just a stick-up-your-ass director with no love and emotion. Him going like, oh, really, motherfuckers? Okay, let me tell you what the strongest power is in this movie. It's love. And it's like... Chris Nolan, don't do that. Just it's not love.
I loved it. I think this is a perfect movie.
I think it is a very strong movie.
It is strong.
I think visual effects, which it did win Oscar for best visual effects, 100%.
As
no
well,
question.
it should have.
Really incredible what they do. Like if you even look at the behind the scenes of how they shot on the ocean planet, it was like a soundstage, I think, and they filled it with water. Like it's a cool. Everything about the movie you could tell was like well done, but also using the practical effects element is great.
Yeah, they flew to a real black hole. Now, the black hole, of course, was CGI, but what was really cool, what they did with it, was they had it playing on a screen outside the windows of the spaceship set. So they were really looking out at, like, the black hole on the screen.
Yeah, like giving them like an actual visual thing to react to. It's not like they're looking at a green screen, like look at the green screen and react to whatever you're seeing. Like, no, it's like you're looking out the window, seeing what this thing is supposed to look like, and you're going like, oh no.
Yeah.
So Interstellar,
staring into the gates of hell, pretty much.
Yeah, the abyss and the
Eye of Cthulhu.
Yeah, the giant black eye that leads to an infinite string library.
Yep.
So now after Interstellar, the movie's well received. So what's next for Christopher Nolan after this movie is...
I would say he downsized with his next film. A much shorter film, a much smaller scale film, but a great film nonetheless.
I don't think it was a downsize. I actually think this was an upsize. Now, granted, so Interstellar talked about massive ideas, cosmic level ideas with a smaller cast and crew. The next movie is a snippet in time.
Oh.
But the cast is huge, and the movie is called Dunkirk.
Yes.
Dunkirk is based off an actual historical event where the Allied forces, who were going against Nazi Germany, they ended up getting pushed back by the German war machine up along the French coast in this area called Dunkirk. Shout out to the French, who constantly get shit on, but they were like fighting their asses off trying to protect the British. They're trying to like just survive this town that they're totally blockaded into. They're pushed up against the English Channel. They can literally see, this is the other part of the movie that I think is cool, is you can literally see, and this is also in real life as well, you look across the English Channel, you can literally see England straight across from Dunkirk. It's only like 30 miles. So you can see the coast of England. The problem is, because the water in the channel is so low for any kind of bigger, larger ship to make landmass, these men are stuck there. They're literally stuck 30 miles from home.
Yeah.
Like they can literally see across the water, that's, home, but we're stuck here. Kind of gives it this like, this like kind of like kicking the balls sentiment of like, I'm so close yet so far.
Yeah.
So you have the story told from three different perspectives. You have the story of the guys on the ground. You have the story of the air pilots, the Royal Air Force, Tom Hardy being the main focus while in the air. And then you have this really great story of like, while they're out in the ocean, all the ships being ordered to go over to Dunkirk to rescue people.
Yeah. So you have Mark Rylance.
Mark Rylance, also fresh off of an Oscar, I think 2 years before he was in Bridge of Spies. Yeah.
Bridge of Spies was good.
I thought it was a good, like, it had a very cool, like, kind of like 1950s feel to it. Like a very classic cinema feel.
Yeah.
Greatest movie? No, I liked Creed more that year than I liked Bridge of Spies. I thought.
Creed came out that year?
Yeah.
Creed's great.
Yeah, and the director got snubbed. That was the whole, what was it called? Why So White or some shit like that? Or,
oh, yeah, Oscar So White.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it's fucked up what they did, but,
yeah.
So now you have in Dunkirk three different perspectives. You have Kenneth Branagh. He plays the actual real life main admiral of like a leader of these troops who's trying to keep his guys alive.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, with the German forces, you have the Luftwaffe, which was like the German Air Force.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. Dropping these pamphlets down. Literally a map of France, red Nazi like German like colors, and then an arrow pointing, "You are here," and it's like terrifying. It's like and you just see these flyers, and they're just floating down by like the thousands. You're like, Jesus Christ! Like the whole idea and goal is for them to get them to surrender, because if they can get them to surrender, they literally Nazis win the war right then and there.
Okay,
they can get a surrender.
Yeah,
there are interesting historical facts of the fact that they wonder why didn't Adolf Hitler just say, hey, ransack these guys. Apparently one of the things they say is the leader of the Air Force, I'm blanking on I think it's Raman. I'm saying Raman.
Raman, wow.
Yeah, Romlin, I think his name was. Rommel.
That sounds
Rommel, there we
Rommel,
go.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, I believe, the Air Force leader, and he said, we want to be the ones to take victory for this. Mm-hmm. We wanted... the whole thing of taking victory for the fatherland, or whatever the fuck they said.
Yeah.
They were like, we want to take victory for this, so don't push your troops in. Let us take the W for this. So, and then you also have the people who try to like make Hitler look like less of an asshole, who go like, no, he just wanted to give like a sporting shot to the British. And it's like, if you want to win the fucking war, you're going to go after anything. You're not going to give a shit about, you know what I mean? So like, don't try to make him look like a fucking anything more than a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So you have it now where they're backed up. You know, Kenneth Brown is trying to keep his guys alive. You have the English Air Force trying to basically hold off the German Air Force. Problem is, again, going back to the historical aspects, the British Royal Air Force, most of their guys, I believe, are like these younger, unproven people, whereas the people they brought in to be like the German Luftwaffe or whatever it was, they were like previously experienced like fighting for the fascists in Spain during like the Spain Revolution.
Yeah.
So these guys are proven versus unproven soldiers. So
Okay.
But what's funny is, by the end of it, more German Air Force were shot down than the British Royal Air Force was shot down. Problem is, you do see in the movie British Royal Air Force like getting shot down to like, you know, build the tension.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy is great in that fucking scene. That scene with Tom Hardy, like, ironically, once again wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You know, in a Nolan movie. But he really sells it. His facial expressions are like, you can tell in that scene he is like genuinely like, oh shit, like I got someone on my six. I got pigs on the wing. You know, it's
Pigs on the Wing.
It's Pink Floyd. Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Album Animals. Real quick side tangent. Roger Waters' dad died while fighting over Italy. His plane got shot down.
Wow.
So he wrote the album Animals, and one of the songs that bookends the album is called Pigs on the Wing, Part 1 and Part 2.
Okay.
Just a quick little side tangent there, because I like Pink Floyd a lot. That album's fucking amazing. Listen to it. So you have now like these different perspectives and views of the story being told. You see the guys on the ground, they're trying to like do everything they can. Like they have to drop cover every time they hear like the sound of a missile dropping. And I just feel bad for the guys who drop to the ground and they just get hit anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, that sucks. Then you cut to out in the ocean. You see this ship that's out there, and it ends up grabbing one of the soldiers, played by Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy gets picked up by Mark Rylance. And, you know, he's like, what the hell is going on? And it turns out, and this is also true, that a lot of soldiers tried swimming across the channel. Sadly, not a lot of them... I don't think a lot of them made it. I think they either got rescued or they drowned, sadly.
Yeah.
So he rescues Cillian Murphy. They get then the order that Winston Churchill puts out saying any and all ships that are available to head to Dunkirk, get there, rescue soldiers, and get them the hell out of there. By the end of the movie, you know, it's getting desperate. You know, you have the French are starting to kind of like have no choice but to like, you know, back up because the German war machine's just pushing their ass. Very, very tough. That's what anyone who wants to shit on the French and say whatever they fucking want to, not to like jerk off the French right now, but they fought their asses off. They were hard fucking fighters, and shame on anyone who wants to shit on the French people. But the end of the movie, very triumphantly, is you have these ships. They all appear. They save. I want to say they saved 60,000 men.
Wow.
Like this. This whole story. What's interesting about this story, and this to me is a story that does hope better than even Interstellar did it.
Okay.
Because one, this is actually based off something that does happen. It's not fiction.
Yeah.
This was a real event. Two, it was a massive defeat for the Allied forces. Like they literally had to leave behind so much resources.
Yeah.
Like guns, ammunition, any car or vehicle they couldn't destroy got left over for the German forces to use and to be reintroduced into the, you know, taken by the Reich or whatever the fuck they say.
Yeah.
And then one thing that I thought was kind of cool was the fact that, you know, because the French helped get the English allies out of Dunkirk, Winston Churchill said, we're going to send ships back to pick up the French. We ended up picking up, I'm saying we, like we're British, but
right.
The British end up going back and picking up like 40,000 French people.
Wow.
French soldiers. Sadly, though, like...
So about 100,000 people altogether.
Yeah. Like, that being said, sadly, like 60,000, like, French had, like, already surrendered, sadly, so they didn't have a choice, so they ended up getting, like, taken in.
Yeah.
Yeah, movie-wise, I mean, just the hope of, like, you know, these guys, literally this ticking clock of, oh shit, we're going to be mauled to death by the fucking Nazis. Well, I'm saying, German army, Nazi, whatever. It's kind of blends all the fucking same.
Yeah.
We're getting pushed back, and to be saved last minute. Granted, it's a loss. There's still hope of, okay, we can still continue. And ultimately, look, it helps us win the war. It's like a L that turns into you lose the battle but win the war. And thankfully, we do win the war.
Yep.
And, thankfully now we have Chris Nolan making great movies and not like Christoph Nolenstein or Nolenstein or whatever. So now we have Dunkirk. Dunkirk, I believe, wins. I think a couple different things. It wins like best visual effects, best sound design, I think, or best like.
It's always that shit that Nolan's films win.
Yeah, and again, I think that's.
But we'll get to Oppenheimer, big Oscar winner.
Yes, but I would say too, like again, like a lot of his movies had always been very visually spectacle. Yeah. Story is interesting, especially Dunkirk being an actual real time event. I would definitely say, like, the visual aspects of it are really impressive, considering, like I said, like, he's directing thousands of extras.
That's true.
Or hundreds of extras at minimum. Yeah. Like, a lot of moving parts to consider, more so than even Interstellar.
I was going to say, I always thought of Interstellar as being bigger in scope.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just because it takes place across, like, the universe. But production-wise, Dunkirk does sound like it would be bigger, having thousands of people in it.
Yeah, and just having to coordinate that.
Yeah.
Because you figure you're going to have a B team out there getting, like, shots, while Christopher Nolan's like, okay, while you're handling that, my having one of his ADs go out to shoot B-roll.
Yeah.
I'm going to handle the stuff on the beach, or I'm going to handle the shots in the air, or whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
Watching the dailies of, Tom Hardy furrowing his brows with the mask over his face, trying to make sure that works.
Yep.
And overall, it's a really, really solid movie.